Hello everyone and welcome to VRML channel 1. Today we're bringing you a diamond matchup of two matchups today actually. The first one being Braz and Badgers versus Shock. Braz and Badgers on the orange side, Shock on the blue side. Both being very close to each other on the standings. As you can see, Braz and Badgers on 16th place and Shock on 15th. Both diamond like I said, and both with the same record, so this should be an interesting match indeed. On the side of Braz and Badgers, we have Ando, Stu, Denson, and Mr. Bullied 007. And on the side of Shock, we have K9 Matty, Fever, Woodsy 0909, so we'll just get started quickly here. Looks like for some reason the credits have come up. Not sure. Just a misclick, don't worry. But anywho, we're going to get started in this first round. Braz and Badgers versus Shock. And for any of you wondering, this is a European matchup. So it will be Shock getting their first fusion, taking initial possession. He will just walk it up, sending it back. Trying to send it back, but there's no one there to receive it. But the stack quickly gets there. Woodsy picks it up, sends it right back to Fusion. Fusion sends it across to K9 Matty. Matty sent it back to Fusion, hand over the headbutt. But a quick stun from Matty will stop him from taking possession. And now into the hands of Beaver. Beaver will send it over to Fusion. Fusion will send it back to Beaver. Now Beaver just on the wall here, trying to make his way forward. We'll send it over to Fusion again. Fusion making his drive, but Stu with the save will deny that goal and send it right back into the mid. Now, back into the hands of Fusion. Fusion trying to do some juking, but Ando will get the stun off, but closely followed by Matty stunning him. He will lose possession, and the dribble comes through into the bubble. They will just miss the disc, as it does take some bounces on the wall. Now back into the hands of Stu. Stu will send it through, and it will go all the way to the blue side, into the blue bubble, but Shock is there first through the stack. Beaver taking possession. He will try to clear it, but it will end up in the hands of Fusion. Fusion now trying to go for the clear, but it does just bounce off some Geo, getting stuck in the mid, but Beaver will be able to recover, sending it back into the blue side, and it is in the orange side, sorry, and it is Fusion taking possession. He will put it in for the first 2 points of the game. 2-0 now in favor of Shock, with just about 8.5 minutes remaining on the clock. It will be Braz and Badgers taking just advantage. Stu, fuck you B, we'll try to send it over to the left, but Matty is there to stop that. Going for the shot, we'll just ding off the top of the rim and bounce into the hands of Woodsy. Woodsy sending it to Fusion, who is on the bow tie. We'll just take his time, look for an open opportunity. Sending it back over to Woodsy. Woodsy now, not sure what that was, but maybe a missed pass now into the hands of Fusion, who will get stunned out by Denson. Denson trying to recover it, but will be in the hands of Beaver. Beaver just getting the pass off as he does get stunned, but Mr. Bullied will intercept, sending it right back through into the blue side. Now race for this kill will be Braz and Badgers getting there first, but will just bounce off the shield, causing them to overshoot or miss, I guess. So now the pressure comes on, and the intercept from Mr. Bullied will give possession over to Braz and Badgers. Braz and Badgers, well, Mr. Bullied, sorry, will send it over to Ando. Ando will just do a nice little self pass, and over to Stu. Stu getting pressured. We'll just send it back to Mr. Bullied. Mr. Bullied now walking up, does get pressured by Woodsy and does manage to slip the pass past him into the hands of Ando. Ando now making his way forward, sending it, trying to send it up. Maybe a bit of miscommunication between the players, but it will end up in the hands of Mr. Bullied, who does a nice twirl, getting past that defender. Now Denson going for the shot, and he will get it past the goalie. Tying this game up now, 2-2. Just under 7 minutes remaining on the clock, or just about 7 minutes, sorry, remaining on the clock, as Shock take Joust advantage. Will be Woodsy taking QB, sending it over to Beaver on the station. Beaver making his way forward past that first stack, sending it all the way over to Fusion. Fusion walking it up. Will get pressured by Ando, trying to juke him, and he will not be successful as Ando still is on his toes, but he does manage to get away from him, sending the reset back to Beaver. Beaver will get pressured by Mr. Bullied, but will send the pass over to Woodsy. Woodsy now sending a long pass. We'll just go a little wide off the target. Ando will miss it, and everyone will be missing it, and it will finally end up in the hands of Fusion. Fusion taking his time again, sending it back to the bow tie, but Mr. Bullied with the interception is able to read that, but Woodsy with the catch, giving possession back over to Shock, and now put the pass over to Fusion. Fusion making his way up again, looking for open opportunities, looking for them passes. And he will send it back to the bow tie, to the hands of Woodsy. Now just taking his time, trying to gain his teammates in position as Ando with the steal will send it back through into the blue side. Nearly bouncing in off the backboard, but will just miss as K9 Matty does get the stun and recovers the disc for his team. Trying to get the clear through, will just take some bounces, but will make its way into the hands of Ando. Ando trying to clear it back through, but will bounce off the head of one of the players of Shock. Now still at the backline, will get pressured, he will get stunned out, and Fusion back with this, going for the long shot, and it will just go high off the goal, bouncing right back out of that orange bubble and into the hands of Woodsy. Woodsy now resetting it back to Beaver. Beaver will just make his way up, sending it over to the left to Fusion. Fusion will just miss it, but will recover it off the bounce. And now just walking his way up, making his way up. Woodsy, that over to Beaver. Beaver working his way up, but will get stunned out. Now trying to pass it back to Fusion, and he will connect. Sending it over to Beaver. Beaver going for the shot, putting it in for the 2. 4-2 now in favor of Shock. Now it looks like we will just get a pause for whatever reason. Looks like Beaver may be spiking, so we'll just wait until that comes back down and then we can continue with the game. Meanwhile, big welcome to everyone in the chat. I hope you're having a good time so far. This is fairly close match at the moment. Just under 5 minutes remaining on the clock, and it is 4-2. So it has stayed pretty close and even tied throughout pretty much the whole game so far. As you know, just then Shock did take the goal, putting them in the lead. Darkening, I see you guys talking about darkening in the chat a lot. Darkening's not rusted on Shock, I believe you guys are saying that Darkening should be on Shock's side. He's not rusted on Shock, I don't think. As now Stu takes Scooby, sending it over to Mr. Bullied. Mr. Bullied getting pressured, will get the clear through back down into the blue side, but will end up in the hands of Fusion. Fusion now trying to make his way up, will get past that first defender, sending a pass over to Woodsy. Woodsy going for the long shot, it looks like. We'll just go low of the goal and back into hands of Fusion. Fusion trying to dodge that first defender, will not be successful, and into hands of Mr. Blade, going for the reset over to Stu. Stu getting the clear through back into the blue side. And now bouncing high off some Geo, will end up in the hands of Stu. Stu sending the reset back to Mr. Bullied. Mr. Bullied sending it all the way back out to Ando. Now Ando taking his time as he does get pressured, sends a long pass over to Mr. Bullied. Mr. Bullied trying to send another long pass, but we'll just go low of the target, but into the hands of Stu. Stu getting pressured by Fusion. Will not be able to get the pass off, but Ando will recover. Now sending a pass over to Shield, and Mr. Bullied with a shot. Now tying this game up 4-4. Just under 3.5 minutes remain. As it will be Shock taking just advantage in this first round for the second time. It will be Woodsy taking QB, sending it over to the right tunnel, over to Matty. Matty getting pressured, will send it down to Fusion. Fusion sending it across to Beaver. And Beaver now slowing the play down, taking his time. Just making his way up on the wall, and as he does send the reset back to Woodsy. Woodsy walking it up a little bit, sends a long pass up to Fusion. Fusion now making his way into the bubble, tries to send a cut pass over to Beaver. Beaver is covered, and that pass will miss, but back into hands of Woodsy at the back. Will send the cross pass over to Fusion. Fusion is getting pressured, so he does try to duck, and he does lose the disc. Mr. Blade will pick it up, sending it back to the blue side. And now Fusion with the recovery, but quickly followed by Stu, who will get the stun off, trying to send the pass up to Ando, but some Geo is just in the way, and it will bounce back out into the mid. Will be recovered by Mr. Blade, closely followed though by K9 Matty, who will get the stun off, just dropping the disc however, and it will be back into hands of Denson. Denson sending a cross pass to Stu, but Woodsy is there to cover that pass. But back into hands of Ando. Ando trying to go for the shot, but we'll just go low off the goal. He was getting pressured, so he did try to make a quick shot. But now back into hands of Denson. Denson resetting it all the way back to Mr. Bullied. Mr. Bullied now making his way up. Sends it over to Denson. Denson walking his way up. Sends it back to Mr. Bullied. Mr. Bullied back to Denson. Quick back and forth there. Now trying to send the reset back. He will just miss, but will bounce into the hands of Mr. Bullied. As Shock does try to stack over, but realize they don't have time for it, I guess. Now to pass the backboard to Stu. Stu trying to send the pass. Will just bounce off the shield and back into hands of Shock. Fusion will clear it out. We'll just get stuck in the mid and back into hands of Woodsy. Woody's trying to send the pass across. We'll just be a little too behind his teammates to be able to pick up. But Fusion will recover it. Now sending it all the way back to K9 Matty. K9 Matty trying to send the pass over to Woodsy, but Woodsy is covered and the intercept comes through and followed by a clear back into the blue side. The Shock player is just overshooting it, and it will be K9 Matty getting there first as he does get the stun off. Now getting stuck in the mid again. The Shock stack is there first, picked up by Fusion. Fusion going for the long shot on a goalie. He will just miss the goal. Back into hands of Beaver. Beaver will send it across to Fusion. Fusion walking his way up. And will go high off the goal into hands of Denson, who does get stunned out. But the clear from Ando back into the blue side comes through. Less than a minute remains and this tied up game. The Shock stack overshooting it, but Fusion will be able to recover in the end. The Braz and Badgers start getting there just a little late as now the cross pass over to Beaver comes through. Beaver just taking his time, sending it over to Fusion. Fusion now trying to get the long pass down. Looks like, or maybe just a clear, but Ando will pick up, sending a shot through. Looks like it could be a shot, and it will just go low of the goal. Fusion just ducking that Braz and Badgers stack. Beaver will take the pass. We'll go for the clear down into the orange side. Just gets stuck in the mid, but barely just makes it ways through. As Mr. Blade recovers it, sends it back to the blue side. Now less than 10 seconds remain. They just do overshoot that disc, and the slap will come through into the mid. So in the first round, we will be going into an OT. Well, this definitely is a close game. I mean, 4-4 and first round OT. That is something. I mean, they do have like the exact same records, so 9-5 on both teams. So pretty an even match for pretty even records. A Shock does get there first off the headbutt, and just missing that disc. One of the players of Shock will just fly past it. Now into hands of Denson, but he will get stunned out, and into hands of Beaver, who will get the slap off to Fusion. Fusion over to Woodsy, and Woodsy going for the shot. It will just ding off the rim, back into hands of Fusion. Fusion making his way up, will just miss the shot. Back into hands of Woodsy, now trying to send the pass across, and it will be saved as Matty takes a shot. Now the clear comes through back into the mid, into the tunnel. Both teams stacking. Mr. Boyd going for the shot. It will just go wide of the goal, bounce right back into the hands of Denson, who is getting pressured. He will just dodge those defenders. Trying to send the pass up to Mr. Boyd, but he is covered by the Shock defense. Now Beaver just barely getting that slap off, but he will get it into the blue side. But the Braz and Badger stack is there first. And the quick clears, they do get pressured, but into the hands of, I believe it's K9 Matty? No, it is Beaver. The interface just glitched out a bit there. So now Beaver just walking his way up, but Ando is able to steal it as he got dangerously close to the goal. Now the clear comes through back into the blue side. It looks like it will be Shock getting there first. Fusion will pick it up for Shock. Now making his way through. We'll send it over to Beaver. Beaver now looking for a pass. We'll send it down to Matty, but Matty will just miss. Getting pressured by that Braz and Badger stack. We'll just get the pass off just in time to Beaver. Beaver now up to Woodsy. Woodsy trying to send it back to Fusion, but we'll just have a bit of miscommunication, but he is able to recover it off the bounce. Now making his way up into the bubble, getting pressured by all of Shock is one goalie, and they managed to get the stun off on the goalie, and Shock will put it in for the 2 points. Now 6-4 will be Shock taking this first round, just barely. 6-4 overall. I do these like little bit of tips in between. Braz and Badgers, I think they should stop clearing it as much, because I say this a lot, they just need to keep possession. Shock, most of the time, not all of the time, but it seems to be most of the time, either they have someone back that can cover the clear, or the Shock stack is just together faster and just gets to the disc faster than Braz and Badgers is able to get their stack. So I would just say that for Badgers is what I say all the time. Just possession. They just need to pass a bit more and make their way up. Because obviously most of the clears, I mean some clears did work and they were able to get past those backline defenders, but I think it would have worked out a bit better for them if they had just more passing instead of clearing it down and giving possession a lot of the time to Shock. But they did have some strong defense. Just at the end, it was unfortunate. They had pretty much all their defense out of position and just the one goalie and the like 3 or 4 Shock players coming in. So it was unfortunate. Now there was a pause, but looks like we'll be unpausing and getting back into the second round just very shortly. Just reading chat there, but nothing interesting to comment on. You guys are so boring. Anyway, well, round 2 will begin of Brazen Badgers versus Shock right here on VRML channel 1. Initial joust begins and it will be Shock getting there first with the headbutt. Will end up in the hands of Fusion. Fusion are sending it up to Woodsy. Will just miss the pass just slightly and into the hands of Ando, who will get stunned out by Woodsy, and Woodsy now taking possession, sending it down to Beaver, and Beaver trying to get the slap pass off, will just miss. And in the hands of Beaver, Beaver sending a pass over to Fusion. Fusion just overshooting that shot attempt. And back in the hands of Ando, who will get stunned out by Matty, and Matty will not be able to recover it and miss the bully. Now trying to send the clear through, will just bounce back into their side. But now the stack comes through, Denson is able to pick it up for Badgers, and they will just send it down into the blue side, into the blue bubble. Brazen Badgers is there first. Denson now making his way towards the goal, and he will put it in for the 2 points. Brazen Badgers with the early lead, 2-0. Just as I say that Shock is faster, of course Brazen Badgers does beat them on that time. As now Shock does their rollout, sending it down to Matty. Matty across to Fusion. Fusion looking for the cut pass. It looks like Matty does receive the pass and he will put it in for the 2. Quickly tying it up now 2-2. Just noticed the title is slightly wrong, so boop. The match, the Intoxicated versus Blank, is the match after this one. I only just realised the title says Intoxicated versus Blank and not Brazen Badgers versus Shock first. But now Ando trying to send the clear through. Fusion is there to pick it up. An example of what I was saying about they have their backline defense to just cover the clears is now Woodsy will pick it up, dodging the defenders, looking for a pass. He will just send it back to Fusion. Fusion now working his way up. Will try to dodge that defender and will be successful. Now looking for the pass, but instead goes for the top pocket shot. Now 4-2 in favor of Shock, with just under 8 minutes remaining on the clock. Will be Brazen Badgers taking joust advantage. Stu with 4 QB will send it over to. We'll try to send over the tunnel, but Beaver with the shot will just go wide of the goal. Bounce right back into the orange, out of the orange bubble, and to hands of Fusion. Fusion just resetting it back to Woodsy. And Woodsy just making his way all the way back out into the mid. Taking his time. They do have the lead, so they have plenty of time to take. Brazen Badgers does have to push and they need to pull out some amount of defense to be able to pressure them to force a pass. As now the pass over to Fusion comes through, but Fusion tries to dodge that defender, will just get stunned out. And the clear is attempted and will not come through, but Ando will recover, sending it right back into the blue side. Missed the bully now with the shot attempt. Will just ding off the rim. Now, a loose disc, and it will be, looks like Ando getting there first, taking possession for Brazen Badgers, now sending the pass down to Denson. Denson walking it up, and he will place it too high for the goalie to catch. Tying this game up now 4-4. Just about 6.5 minutes remain. Literally most boring game. Well, not every game will be exciting, but I mean, this is quite a close match, so it's not that boring. Like, you can't lie, it's not that boring. Beaver now with the duck, but Denson will catch him, so he will send the pass over to Matty. Matty will just send it too high for Fusion to catch. Now back into the hands of Stu. Stu making his way forward. Will send the clear through, and it will make its way past the backline defenders, but bounce straight back into the side of Orange, which is just a very unfortunate clear. Now Beaver getting a slap reset over to Woodsy. Woodsy sending it across to Fusion. Fusion at the mid. Now trying to get past that defender. We'll try to send the pass over to Woodsy, and he will be successful. Woodsy now down to Beaver. Beaver making his way towards the bubble, trying to get past that defense. We'll send a long pass over to Fusion. Fusion now up to Woodsy. Woodsy going for the shot attempt, and there is two goalies, one of them being stunned out, and just not in time to pick it up and save it. Will be a 2 points to the side of Shock. Now putting them in the lead 6-4. Just about 5 minutes remain on the clock as Braz and Badgers take Joust advantage. Stu now for QB. We'll send it over to Mr. Bully. Mr. Bully now across to Ando. Ando getting pressured by Beaver. We'll send it down to Denson. Denson making his way forward. Taking his time. They do have plenty of time. It's only a 2-point deficit. Mr. Bully send a pass over to Stu, and Stu into the goal. Tying it up 6-6 very quickly. 15-second goal time. Just under 5 minutes remain on the clock. Just hitting the halfway mark of the second round. As Shock takes Joust advantage. Will be Woodsy taking QB, sending it over to the tunnel. Be picked up by Beaver, who will send it down to the ground. Will just go wide of his teammate, and he will not be able to pick it up. Stu with the recovery will try to send the clear through, and it will make its way all the way through into the blue side. Now the Brazen Badgers Shock getting there, start getting there first, but Shock closely following, and the steal comes through. Beaver will get pressured, and a double stun comes through, and now into the hands of Matty. Matty stacked with Fusion. Looks like they might go for a dribble, but they are getting leached by Denson, who is unfortunately not able to get the stun off. Now all four players of Shock are in the side of Brazen Badgers. Brazen Badgers defense just getting there just in time as now. Very unfortunate, as looks like it was Fusion trying to fake out the goalie, but gets stunned just in time for him to drop it and not score any more goals. Now the slap set comes over to Beaver. Beaver now across to Woodsy. Woodsy sending it down to Fusion, who will just miss the pass. Now back into the hands of Stu. Stu, who will go for the clear through the mid, up in the upper area of the mid, and will just bounce back into the mid in hands of Fusion, who will just barely get the clear off as the stuns come through. Now Ando getting the stun off, chasing the disc down. Looks like he will be there first, closely followed by Woodsy. He will just dodge that player and send a pass down to Stu. Stu now with the clear all the way into the blue side. Looks like he could be on course for a goal, and it will just ding off the rim. Now Beaver recovering it, getting pressured by Brasden Badgers, but will just manage to dodge them and send the clear. Well, attempt the clear, but into the hands of Ando. Ando just resets it over to Stu. Stu now sending the pass over to Mr. Boyd. Mr. Boyd down to Ando. Ando now making his way up. Will just get stunned out by Matty, and Matty will get the clear back through into the orange side. Less than 3 minutes remain on the clock, and it will be K9 Matty getting there first, and he will go for the shot as the defense is just not ready and putting in for the 2 points. Now Shock in the lead by 2, 8-6. Just about 2.5 minutes remain on the clock as Brazen Badgers takes Joust advantage. It will be Stu to QB, sending it over to Mr. Boyd. Mr. Boyd now across to Ando. Ando trying to send the quick pass down to Denson. He will just send it low, and Matthew with the interception, sorry. We'll try reset it. We'll just bounce off some Geo back into hands of Matty, though. We'll now send the pass over across to Beaver. Beaver now resetting it back to Fusion. Just playing this nice and slow, nice and calm, as they do have the advantage. They don't want to lose it. Now getting pressured by that Brazen Badgers stack. We'll be able to stun out the stack of Shock. Now Beaver going for the long shot. It will go wide of the goal, but into the hands of Fusion. Fusion going for the shot, and we'll put it in for the 2 points. Now 4 points in the lead is Shock with 10 points on the board. Brazen Badgers with 6. Less than 2 minutes remain on the clock. Brazen Badgers will be taking Joust advantage yet again, as they will not be able to sort of respond and tie the game up that time. As now Stu just missing the pass over to the tunnel. Shock trying to get there, and it will be Fusion getting there first, but closely followed by the Braz and Badger stack, and they will get the headbutt off away from the players of Shock. Now the Sun coming through and another headbutt, but Denson is able to finally recover it for Braz and Badgers. Now sending the reset back to Stu, who is just going to miss it, so it will turn into a clear back into the orange side. It will be Shock getting there first, going for the long shot, will just ding off the rim. Now, just Braz and Badgers just barely missing that. Will be back into hands of Ando, who tries to get the slap clear out, but it will just bounce off some Geo. Back into hands of Fusion. Fusion now making his way up. Will just send the pass back to Woodsy. Woodsy now taking his time. Will send it down to Fusion. Fusion walking it up and putting it up high off the goalie. Giving them a 6-point lead now. With 12 points on the board is Shock and 6 points on the board is Braz and Badgers. 30 seconds remain. It doesn't look like they have enough time to make a comeback. Braz and Badgers will take Joust advantage, and it will be Stu for QB. Stacked with Ando will send it over to Mr. Bullied, and they will stack down. Now they'll pass down to Denson. Denson making his way up. Sends a quick pass down to Ando. Ando now going for the shot, but Stu will put it in. Scoring 2 points for them, giving Braz and Badgers 8 points, but unfortunately they are out of time, so it will be Shock taking this match into rounds. 12-8 in this second round to Shock. It will be Shock taking this round. It's not as close as it was in the first round, but still fairly close. But with that being said, bear with us as we will go into a short intermission to move on to our next match and final match of this small little block of tonight. A master match, and one that might be quite exciting, so stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome back to VRML Channel 1. This time we are bringing you a master matchup, Intoxicated versus Blank, which should be a good one, hopefully a close one like last round. And now joining me is a special guest right here on Alocoste's booth, SputnikKobra. Sputnik, how are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm feeling good, pretty good. I don't know if I'm a special guest. I'm here a lot. You calling me a special guest?
Well, for this matchup, because wasn't expecting you. To come, you know.
I, I'm just giving you a hard time, Ollie.
As usual.
You know, you're one of my favorite casters. You're getting better with every cast, and you're great right now. And you're only gonna become greater.
Well, thanks. I hope I do become greater.
But with that said, we're gonna get into this match. So lead us from here, Ollie.
We'll be getting into this first round of Intoxicated versus Blank. Intoxicated being on the orange side and Blank being on the blue side. Let's go for this initial joust, and it will be Intoxicated getting there first. Jeff Jack will pick it up though for Blank, but we'll lose it. The slap coming through from the side of Blank will go in back into the orange side now into hands of Sundance, sending it over to Archie. Archie will send the pass over to Winter. Now Winter dodging that first defender of Blank and making his way through the tunnel. Getting stacked with Finn, going for a dribble. And now Winter picking it back up, sending it over to Finn. Finn making her way through into the bubble, and we'll put it in for the 2 points. Now Intoxicated with early lead, 2-0.
So 24 seconds on that goal time. Finn behind the goal with the assist by Winter. And Intoxicated, formerly Tempo, changing it up a little bit. They're an explosive team, and they're fairly new, and they're just on display right now.
Definitely. That was a good showing and a very, very fast stack from Intoxicated as now the stun comes through as J for Jack is just able to get it through into the side of Intoxicated, but now just missing the clear, and it will be in the hands of J for Jack, who will get stunned out and back into the hands of Winter. Winter sending a bounce pass over to Finn. Finn recovering it now, just taking a time. We'll send the clear, it looks like, through the tunnel. Now that Intoxicated stack is ready, making their way through, and it'll be Archie picking it up, sending it over to Sundance on the backboard. Sundance making his way forward into the goal, and he will put it in for the 2 points, giving Intoxicated now a 4-point lead.
So Finn formerly on Neo, Winter formerly on Blank, and Archie formerly on Nameless. So they've all changed up their rosters. They've all left their previous teams. They've joined Intoxicated, and they're having a lot of success.
Yeah, they are working quite well. I imagine they've practiced quite a lot because they want to stay in that master tier, because obviously this team was, as you said, called Tempo before, and I think the roster, apart from Sundance, has completely changed. So they got to definitely work hard to keep themselves in the master tier come that next Challenger Cup in a few weeks. As now Finn sends a pass over to Sundance. Sundance just dancing around that defender. We'll just send it back to Archie. Archie making his way up forward. We'll send a long pass over to Winter, who will just miss. No will bounce back out of the bubble. Recovered by Tosis, who will try to send the clear through, but will just bounce off some Geo.
And looking at the chat, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. Can you guys just say sorry and focus on the game? I love you all. And with this pass to Sundance, Sundance making the drive. He's going to find those 2 points at 4 meters. So, Ollie, right now we're just seeing Intoxicated finding a lot of momentum, maintaining it. And nearly 3 minutes off the clock, they're really running this game right now.
They definitely are. They're definitely doing good. But I did speak to Padish not too long before the cast, and they did say they have not actually got any experience with Intoxicated. No scrims as the shot comes through, the long shot. Not sure who sent that shot through, but nonetheless, another 3 points on the board. Intoxicated now 9 points in the lead with 9 points on the board. Blank still with nothing, as we just have about 6 minutes 40 remaining on the clock. For now, as I was mentioning, Padish did say that they haven't had any experience scrimming Intoxicated, so it could be just that the fact that they just need to get warmed up to them and see how they play, and then maybe they'll do better in the round 2. Maybe they're using this first round to just figure out how they play and figure out how to counter it. So it could just be that. Now Padish just picking up and sending it over to Twang Pants. Twang Pants now with the clear.
And you talk about figuring out what they're doing in this first round, and analyzing a team and reacting after scrims is hard, but doing it live is even harder. And to find possession is Twang Pants. Twang Pants trying to find that forward pass, but it's gonna be intercepted by that backstack, sending it to Sundance. Sundance behind the goal, and that one's gonna be shut down. So a good defensive stop from Blank.
As you were saying, that analysis live is definitely hard to do, like in a league match, especially for Master. You don't have a lot of time to react. There's now Jack just thinking that, oh, it will go in actually for the 3 points, just off the bounce. We'll put the first 3 points on the board for Blank. Now 9-3 in favor of Intoxicated. As I was saying, definitely is hard to do that analysis live, but I'm pretty sure even before Blank got into Master today, they usually took their rounds to the third round. Usually took their matches to the third round. So I don't think there's much new practice for Blank. I think they're quite used to it, and I hope they're gonna act well on it. Now Sundance passes over to Archie just dodging that defender, and he will just back out.
So J for Jack would find that 3, and they were able to lock up those stacks from Intoxicated, but Intoxicated going to pick it up in the bubble. Archie not able to find that shot. Tosi's going to make that clear, get it past that backline player, and looking for possession in the bubble. This is a chance. They're going to find it, and that's 2 points to J for Jack. Now cutting that lead from 9 to 7. No, 9 to 6, and now it's 4 points, so 4 minutes on the clock. They can do this. 9 to... I can't... As Alocoste tells me, I can't count. But I think I got it right.
I mean, we can already see that sort of analysis and that adaptation coming through from Blank already, as they are getting some points on the board. Closing that lead down as now Archie receives the pass, goes for the long shot, and I just had to jinx it, didn't I? As now he connects for 3 points, getting distance on that lead. Now Intoxicated 7 points in the lead.
So Blank making adjustments in real time, playing aggressively against this Intoxicated offense. They're going to leave that goal open, and they're going to get punished by that long 3. So less than 4 minutes on the clock. Padish to QB. Padish not able to find that pass through. You can see those 3 forward players from Intoxicated. Slapping that back will be Tosi. And looking to get it at the 2, but getting the stun, but not able to find it. It will go in the hands of J for Jack. J for Jack now sending it to Archie at the back line. Archie making an error, but getting that self pass. And another wacky pass coming through. And it's going to be picked up by Padish. Padish taking this long pass, and J for Jack finishing it off. So Blank's still in this. They're making these adjustments. They're getting back in the game. Now it's back to only a 5-point lead.
And now just about 3 minutes remain on the clock, as it will be Intoxicated taking Jazz advantage. Just rolling out here will be Finn taking QB. We'll just send it down to Sundance. Getting pressured by that Blank stack, staying together. Looks like they're doing a bit of passing around in their side, trying to break up that Blank stack, because they do manage to slip a pass past the stack. And now Archie getting pressure, will send the pass over to Finn. Finn getting pressure, and it will not realize we'll lose it to J for Jack, and J for Jack trying to send a clear through, and it will make its way through back into the orange side. Now a race for the disc, and it looks like it will be Archie getting there first, and it looks like it was actually on course to make its way in for another 3 points. So a good save from Archie, as now it goes back into hands of J for Jack.
And they're a player down. Blank has his player disadvantage, and they need everything, but they're going to get that cut. But Archie reading that one perfectly, getting the stun, getting that forward pass to Finn. But that was a good chance, and they're playing with a man down. And this is not looking good for Blank after they were just gaining some momentum, and Winter's going to pick it up at the ceiling and do that full extension windmill and throw that one right in at 3 meters.
And there's the pause for the missing player, so we'll just wait for them to get their player back in, hopefully soon, because I mean, Blank, they're still in this. I mean, it is a 7-point lead, but 2 minutes on the clock, just above 2 minutes on the clock. And Blank is quite a fast team, so is Intoxicated, so they can definitely bring back 7 points with 2 minutes. 2 minutes is plenty of time for a team like Blank, because like I said, they are a fast team. So if they're just able to get past those defenders and beat them on the stacks, beat Intoxicated on the stacks, then they can definitely bring this back in, even in this first round.
Definitely. And talking about Blank coming out of nowhere. They were promoted to the Masters division, and they deserve to be here. They've got the skill, they've got the ability, but they haven't played against Intoxicated. Not many teams have played against Intoxicated. Intoxicated, like we also said, is fairly new as well. They changed up their roster, formerly Tempo, and they've got this new chemistry and they're explosive, but we're going to be getting back into the game. It's going to be joust advantage now to Blank.
I can just see Schlatt in the chat saying only takes a couple of goals to change the momentum of a match, and I agree. I mean, just especially in higher levels like this one, a couple of goals could mean everything. Now the pass comes through over to Paddish. Paddish trying to get the pass across. Will just miss and into hands of Finn. Finn making her way up, dodging that defender, sending it back to Archie. Archie now sending a long pass over to Winter. Winter making his way towards the bubble, getting pressured by two defenders. We'll just send it over to Sundown. Sundown with the long pass over to Archie, and Archie will connect that 2-point shot. Now 16-7 in favor of Intoxicated.
Nice, cool, collected passing from Intoxicated, able to work their way into that bubble. Archie finding that one at 4 meters. So less than 90 seconds. A 9-point lead now to Intoxicated. Intoxicated going to find that interception, send it in for 3. And they're really tightening the screws now in this first round, extending their lead by another 3 points on that long shot.
Just coming down to the final minute, I don't think with this lead, I don't think there is just enough time to make it even possible, no matter how fast they are. So it looks like this first round might go into Intoxicated, but it will be Paddish taking QB, changing up their joust, looks like, and now tells us will recover, will receive the pass, sorry, but we'll get pressured by that Intoxicated stack. Going for the shot, it looks like off the ground, but we'll just go wide, picked up by Archie, who will just reset it back to Winter. Winter now back up to Archie. Archie going for the shot, and Paddish just not being able to save it. Looks like it might have just gone through her hands as they connect that 2-point shot and pretty much deal this first round. Now 21-7 in favor of Intoxicated.
And Paddish, interacting with that disc maybe a little too late as they're already past the goal line. Paddish would turn around and look at that going, I say that, but a headbutt coming through from Intoxicated. Intoxicated playing hard right now till the buzzer. Archie now setting it behind goal and putting it in as Winter on that difficult angle as they drifted in front of the goal. So Paddish gesturing above the backboard. I don't know what that was about. Maybe commanding her team that they need to be covering these angles, but they need to get some momentum and carry that into the second round.
They do. I mean, this was quite a big lead for Intoxicated, so could be that Blank was just sort of not trying to expose themselves fully to try, get that live analysis and just maybe give Intoxicated that early sort of confidence, so they get maybe a little cocky in the second round and then mess up maybe, and then which will give Blank an opportunity to sort of capitalize and maybe gain a lead, gain some goals. Master tier teams, they have loads of like strategies and they think a lot more outside the box than you would expect. Being Master, they are some of the best players and some of the best teams in the region. So, and
Schlart and Taco having a little bit of a powwow, saying welcome to EU, and Schlart saying the latency is just so bad he can never get good regrabs. And that's the story of latency. If only we had faster. Well, I guess we have fiber optics, but if only we had like quantum teleportation. You know what I'm saying, Ollie? Get that. I don't know how much. This is a bad joke, so I'm gonna drop it there. But Ollie, it's a great game in the first round, and like you were talking about, this adjustments they're gonna have to make. Blank will have to make. They have to get these stacks. They have to stun these stacks. They have to really neutralize the ability for Intoxicated to move up and down the court and just pressure these passes that they're making.
I think they just need to keep possession a bit more. I mean, we've seen some clears coming through from the side of Blank, and of course Intoxicated did have the fastest stacks in that first round. So like I've been saying all the time, and I'm sure the chat gets bored of this now, but just possession, I think, is just key. Like, it's really important. Even if you have a fast stack, like if the team has a faster stack than you, then slow it down, pass more instead of stacking. Because if they have a faster stack, more than likely they'll probably beat you on nearly every clear that you take, unless you stun their stacks, which sometimes is difficult, especially with players like this who are able to just juke you out and just get past you and into that stacks. So just maybe a bit more passing will work better for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the first time they've been matched up against one another. And Blank, fresh to the Master Division, they've got a few more weeks. I think they're going to stay in the Masters Division. I think they've really found their footing. But, playing against a team like Intoxicated, who is very explosive, their ability to get up and down the court, maintain their stacks, maintain their passing composure, just it's a pretty daunting task to respond to in real time.
It is, and unless they plan to like maybe loosen up their plays, a big lead like this can definitely sort of lose their confidence a bit. And I mean, it seems like Blank probably won't give up. I hope they won't give up because they still definitely have a chance in this, even though like this is a lead this big. You can't always go off of points. Like in the second round, it might be completely different. It might be 23-7 in favor of Blank. It's just especially like anything can happen in VRML. I always say this: anything can happen in VRML. It could be completely different in the second round. It could be a third round. It could be like super close in the second round, like way closer than this is obviously. So we'll just have to wait and see, because I mean, master teams, they have the ability to adapt well, and even though this is a massive lead in this first round, like I said, it could be different. Like lower teams, it might be kind of more predictable who's going to win after the first round, but master teams, they're master for a reason. They have the ability to turn it around like quite a bit in that second round, and then maybe bring it to a third round, maybe not. But like I said, we'll just have to wait and see.
And I couldn't agree more. And after all that, I think you need to hydrate. But we're gonna get back into this game. I believe Toasties has rejoined, and it's gonna be interesting to see how Blank readjusts for the second round. At the end of the first round, on that score from Intoxicated, you see Paddish trying to command her team, saying these are the angles you have to cover. This is my interpretation of the gestures, but nonetheless, possibly telling her team like this is the angles that they're coming from. You need to be more dynamic and responsive to their positioning in the bubble. You need to shut it down. But Intoxicated is just so strong right now, and it's up to Blank to stop this momentum, to regain it, and find some parity against this Intoxicated team.
Yeah, they do need to find some momentum. They didn't have a lot of it in that first round. They didn't get many shot attempts, of course. Those few shot attempts that they did get, they did manage to score most of the time. But that being said, they really did get barely any shot attempts. Now we'll be getting into the second round finally. Really don't know what took so long. That was a long pause, but anyway, we are back now in the second round. Will be initial jazz, and it will be Winter, I believe, getting the first pickup, slapping it towards the side, and now both stacks coming through, getting set up very fast, and now the pass back to Finn comes through. Finn just making her way up. We'll send it over to Sundance. Sundance going dangerously close to a defender. We'll just manage to send it over to Archie. Archie will get stunned out by Tosis. We'll just pick up, and Tosis will send the clear through into the side of Orange, and now J4Jack looks like going for a shot. We'll just go high off the goal. Now back into the hands of Finn. Finn looking for that clear, and will manage to make it just past that backline defense. Sundance in the bubble, in the blue side, sorry. We'll go for the shot. We'll just go wide, and now into the hands of Finn, who will get it headbutted off out of her hands, now into the hands of Twang Pants. Twang Pants just making his way forward, and he will make the clear.
And looking to pick it up, but not able to find it at the shield. Would be that Blank stack. Blank now sending it below the goal, getting it into the hands of Twang Pants. Twang Pants sending it out along the wall. Tosi is going to send that other pass, and reading that one is Finn, clearing it out of the bubble. And now the stun's coming out, and that clear from Finn is going to seal it towards the bubble of Blank, and it's going to be picked up along the floor. After these stuns coming through, it's going to be actually slapped out by Blank.
Now back into the hands of J4Jack. We'll get the clear down into the orange side, into the orange bubble. Race for the disc, and it will be Intoxicated getting there first, just stunning that Blank stack on the way and getting that clear right back through into that blue bubble. Now Intoxicated getting there first, closely followed by the Blank stack, is now Twang Pants with the save. We'll deny that goal. Now sending the clear right back through to the orange side. A bit of a back and forth now. It looks like Blank has adapted a bit more and is going a bit more full force as Winter does get there first. Sending it down to Finn, and Finn now sending it back to Winter, just taking their time, trying to break up that stack that Blank has on their side. Now the pass back to Finn. Finn dodging that stack and sending it over to Archie. Archie getting pressured. We'll just send that pass over to Jack. Jack will obviously read it and go for the shot attempt. We'll just ding off the rim. Now Winter pressuring Jack, and he will get the stun off. Winter now with the clear, and looks like the dribble.
So it will be picked up by J for Jack on that stack. J for Jack now sending it forward. He's going to go up to the ceiling. This is a chance, but Blank has to get into that bubble now. But he's going to go in the hands of Archie. Archie sending along the wall to be picked up by J for Jack. J for Jack getting stunned out. And now being picked up at the floor. Winter sending it through for that clear. It's not going to be clean, though. It's bouncing down in the lower trap. Archie now with it. Archie sending it forward into the hands of Sundance. Sundance with the open goal at 9 meters. So 2 minutes, 35 seconds on that goal time. That was back and forth. Blank making the adjustments, but not able to hit their threes. J for Jack would hit that ding. And Sundance is going to find a nice open goal at 9 meters to put the first 3 points of the game on the board for Intoxicated.
You can already see though that Blank has definitely changed something in their play, because it took a lot longer for Intoxicated to score that first 3 points, like about 2 minutes or more than 2 minutes took for them to score. So they definitely have changed something, unless Intoxicated just decide to relax a bit and try take their time a bit more. But if Intoxicated is just playing the same way, then Blank has adapted and they have the ability to do so. So could be an interesting second round.
I mean, I think it's already interesting right now, and it's only going to get more interesting. So we've seen these adjustments from Blank. We're just getting out of this timeout. Joust advantage now to Blank, and Blank just needs to find some momentum. They have these open goal attempts that just weren't in. So they've sent a few clears down when they should have maybe slowed it down, because they're not going to outstack Intoxicated right now. So Tosi to QB, setting it down to Twang. Twang sending it across to Paddish. Nice, good, clean passing. Intoxicated now getting back into the bubble, preparing for this offense. And this is what Blank needs to do right now. They need to slow it down like they're doing right now and just find positional advantage against Intoxicated.
Paddish now sending a bounce pass up to Jack. Jack trying to send the pass over to a teammate on the rim, but neither paying attention. Looks like they wanted to stun that goalie out for the shot attempt, as Twang Pants does get the slap off back into orange side, closely followed by a player from Intoxicated. But a slap from Winter comes through, but Twang Pants at the back is able to recover. But the stack will be stunning him, and Finn will pick up the disc. We're going for the long shot, it looks like, and it will connect for the 3 points for the male slot. Intoxicated now 6 points in the lead with 6 points on the board. Blank with 0. Just about 6 minutes remain on the clock.
And Finn finishing that one off at 48 meters, perfectly placed. Talk about excellence, and you see nothing but that from Finn. So Tosi's now with the disc at the ceiling, and Blank just can get this disc forward, but they just make these errors, or their communication might be breaking down, and this could be a lack of experience. This is only going to come with time, and they just need to play more of these games. They'll make the adjustments, but it might not be possible to do it in this game. But we're seeing it right now. They're learning. They're slowing it down. They're actually going to go off the floor with that shot. That one's not going to be on target. And looking to pick it up will be J for Jack. J for Jack getting stunned out. Now in the hands of Intoxicated for that clear. That one's going to be rushed. That slap down, that's not going to be good. But it will be picked up by Tosi. Tosi going up for that pass. And that's 2 points. J for Jack finding the assist. Finding the shot, actually the assist by Tosi. But 4 meters, they're on the board. Only a 4-point game now.
Just looking at the chat, Mike Ward draws, saying there is no room for error. There definitely isn't. With a team as fast as Intoxicated, you make one mistake and it could change the whole sort of outcome of the round. Like they could do a turnover and then go in the lead and then have possession for longer, and then it could cost the round even for a team like Intoxicated. As a save from Paddish will deny that shot attempt, and now in terms of Tosis, who will get pressured, will get one stun off, and will get the clear into the side of Intoxicated. Intoxicated getting there first, closely followed by Tosis, but Finn will get the slap back to, I believe it was Winter. Now the pass across to Finn, trying to duke out that defender. We'll send the pass forward to Sundance. Sundance now down to Archie, and Archie backing it out. But Twang Pants will intercept, now sending it back into the side of Orange.
And looking to pick it up will be Blank, and J for Jack sending that one in for 3. Now a 1-point game, so Blank is making these adjustments. They're cutting this lead down. 1-point game. They can do this. They can force the third round. I might have misspoke earlier that they can't do this, and I was wrong because they're doing it right now in front of my eyes.
Will now be Intoxicated, taking Jazz advantage. QB will be Finn. Finn now sending it to the tunnel. Over to Winter. Winter sending it forward to Sundance. Sundance sending it across to Archie. Archie getting pressured, so we'll just back it out as there is no passes. Finn now making away upfield, looking for the open passes, making away towards the bubble. One-on-one the goal in. The pass up to Winter, and Winter putting it in for the quick 2. Trying to gain more distance on that lead. Intoxicated now 3 points in the lead.
In Paddish with that 2v1 and a very close pass by Winter, and that's a difficult decision. You pressure that player, you open the goal for that shot, and it's such a split-second decision that you need to make, and that's interception and that slap attempt. Going for a little bit of steez. Intoxicated would try to get that one-timer. Now up to Finn. Finn behind the goal. Another one-timer attempt, and Intoxicated just looking for some really stylish goals right now.
Will be Sundance getting there first, just barely dodging that stack from Blank, as looks like he tried to go for a reset, but there was no one back there, so it will be Blank getting there first. J for Jack picking it up, but Sundance will slap it through. Now in terms of Toes, Toes is sending it down to Twang Pants. Twang Pants making his way forward, sends it across to J for Jack, but we'll just bounce off some Geo and into the hands of Archie. Archie now sending it across to Winter, and Winter with the pass up to Finn, and Finn going for the clear into the bubble. It looks like it could have been a rush shot attempt, but now back in hands of Sundance. Sundance who will just reset it back to Archie.
And it will be picked up by Archie. Archie now to Finn. Finn looking for this pass, sending it right back to Archie, not finding the angle in the bubble that they wanted. Now along the wall to Sundance. Sundance sending it back out, and Finn with the duck and the finish at 3 meters. So now 2 minutes on the clock, 2 points to Finn, 1 minute on that goal time. Blank has to start doing something now if they want to force this third round.
Yeah, less than 2 minutes, but just a 5-point lead. There's plenty of time for Blank to come back. They just need to, looks like they do need to change something else though, because the clearing, boosting may have worked for them before, but in this match it doesn't look like it's working for them very well. Now the pass over to Paddish. Paddish trying to send it across the Twang Pants, but the stack able to read that pass. Now into the hands of Finn. Finn going for the long shot. It will just bounce off the rim back into the hands of Sundance, who will get it stolen by J for Jack. J for Jack getting stunned out, and it will go back into the hands of Winter. Winter going for, looks like maybe a reset, but we'll just go low of all his players and back into the mid. Now it's Blank getting there first, just overshooting the disc. Toes with the slap though over to Twang Pants. Twang Pants will just be able to not be able to catch it. As Finn now looking for the clear, we'll just bounce back into the side of Orange now into the hands of Toes. Toes going for a long shot off the backboard, and it will sting off the rim. 1 minute remains on the clock now as the slap comes through into the hands of J for Jack, who is pressured by Archie. Archie will get the stun off and back into the hands of Paddish. Paddish will send the pass over to Twang Pants. Twang Pants over to Toes, and Toes finding that long shot for the 3. Now 10-8 in favor of Intoxicated. Just a 2-point lead, but less than a minute remains. This is getting very close.
And Schlart saying punished, but Tozy really finding that angle, taking it into his own hands, taking that shot. So a really aggressive defense from Intoxicated, underestimating the ability of Blake to take these shots, so Blake will find them. And now Finn to run out the clock, disabling Twang Pants on that forward stack. So Winter with possession, driving towards that bubble, sending it back now, and they're just running out this clock. 2-point advantage to Intoxicated.
Now the pass over to Sundance. They're just taking their time, like you said, running out the clock, which is another high-level trait to know when to run out the clock, especially in the lead like this. Blank, like I've said plenty already, is a fast team. Like 2 points, they could have got easily. Well, not maybe not easily in this matchup, but they definitely could have got it even with such limited time remaining. So it's definitely a good idea to run out the clock. Try not to make it go into an OT or maybe lose the round if they did get the 3, but close round in that second round, so Blank definitely was able to adapt, just not enough, or maybe just Intoxicated was able to adapt more and just change up their play to counter Blank's adaptations.
Absolutely, an absolutely great game to both teams. Blank, new to the Master Division, making the adjustments they need, doing it on the fly, and they're only going to get better from here, and I'm going to be excited for all their forward matches.
So they're definitely going to have some good matches going forward in Master Tier. But with that being said, this will close off our cast with a fairly exciting match, especially in that second round, very close. But unfortunately, Intoxicated, well, not unfortunately, Intoxicated will take that. Unfortunately, Blank will not take it. That being said, we will close off this cast like I just said, and hope you guys have all enjoyed both these matchups if you stayed here for both. Don't forget to check out the VRML YouTube channel for Echo Arena. Just search out in the YouTube search bar and I'm sure you'll find it. There's plenty of clips on there by now that you can watch. Highlights, VODs, just plenty. That being said though, I hope you guys have a great day, evening, whatever time of day it is for you, wherever you are, and I'll see you all soon.
Season 3 of VRML Echo Arena is brought to you by HyperX, Rebuff Reality, Asterion Products, ProTube VR, VR Cover, Fixed Gaming, and VRware.net.